Hi everyone. Um, I'm not at all sure how this is going to go. Um, I've had rather a shock. Um, First of all, I'll tell you the good news. I've been for my second appointment at the eye specialist and had scans and whatnot, and my eyes are perfectly fine. Although he pointed out that it was not normal at all to fall over if I close my eyes while standing up. Um, and I have absolutely no idea why he said that. And so I guess I'm going to have to talk to my doctor. Because, as you may or may not know, I have spinal stenosis, at least I think that's what it's called, where my discs have developed, my vertebrae have developed what they call spurs, bony outgrowths, and they've collapsed as well. The discs in between, and that is what causes much of my pain, and also causes, I think, the weird sensations that I experience. Because of course your spinal cord is there, it's protected by all that, and it's not being protected, and the pressure on my spinal cord and those spurs, touch nerves that they shouldn't touch and whatnot. But this has been more than suggested by my doctor that, and by the neurologist I saw, that I also have neurological problems, but he did not think it was multiple sclerosis in his experience. And that was it, basically. And I would like a little bit more than that. Although it has been pointed out that, people do have neurological problems that are not caused by something recognisable, like multiple sclerosis. Anyhow. Oh, and the eye man, also suggested that this was why my eye prescription keeps changing, because of my illness, not because of anything wrong with my eyes. But this isn't the shock. It was actually a good outcome, obviously. To be told I have really good eyes, I have thick corneas, and that's a good plus side. And he was an incredibly nice man. Very stereotypical as a doctor, and I told him so, and he said it was quite deliberate. That he was, his whole demeanour, the way he dressed and everything about him. He was a really nice man. He could lull you to sleep. He had such a nice voice. Very sort of avuncular, I think is the word. Just an incredibly nice man. Would make you feel quite safe and secure. And anyway, we were just chatting away, and I mentioned that I'd seen a cardiologist who spoke with a broad Cockney accent, which I was really rather taken by, and found it amusing that, he sounded like a barrow boy, but he was a cardiologist. And I thought, you mean to tell me he got through medical school and through all he had to do at hospital and everything, and they didn't make him change the way he spoke? A good thing, I think. Anyway, we were chatting about that, and he said, well, most normal people would be rather put off by his accent. They want, he said, Mr. and Mrs. March, he said, they're not like you, you're not a normal person. And he didn't mean that at all unkindly. And I was complimented, actually. And we got to talking about that and me, really, about why I'm, about... It was just nice that he knew. He said, you're very different to most people. And he didn't mean it in an unpleasant way at all. In fact, I think he was quite impressed. And that was rather nice. But the shock I had today, and this was from my dear John, and I don't know how it came up, and I don't know why he's never said it before. My older brother has... Oh, I know how it came up, because I said, oh, his tumour never came back, my older brother. He had a spinal tumour and he was in hospital a long time, having it removed, etc. And my John said, no, he wasn't, he was in rehab. And I said, what? And it turns out that he lost his home, his partner, a man, and everything because he was a drug addict. And that when he was in hospital, in fact, he was in rehab. My younger brother told John all this. He sought him out one day, pretended to have bumped into him accidentally, but, you know, it was the pub opposite where John works, so I guess it wasn't an accident. And he was being very unpleasant about my older brother, really sort of offloading onto John, and extremely angry with my parents for pretending and acting like this was all something else. It was all hush-hush and, you know, oh no, Derek's just having an operation in hospital. And then when they couldn't hide that from my younger brother, it was, well, you know, the hospital got him hooked on drugs when he had his operation, that's why. And what shocks me about it is that this completely I don't understand it. I really do not understand their attitude then towards me, my two brothers. I mean, I've spent nearly 2 years of my life in institutions because of OCD and self-harm and an eating disorder. And I've been treated with nothing but disgust and disdain, and, you know, how dare I bring such shame upon the family, and how dare I tell the family secrets. And particularly my older brother, whom I dislike. I have absolutely no reason to like the man, not even as a child. I mean, there was just never any connection. In fact, to be quite honest, when I think of my childhood memories, I remember my younger brother quite well, but I don't remember my older brother much at all, except that he always made me feel bad. Didn't like him, and I still don't. But why wasn't I told any of this? It would have perhaps made me feel a lot better. And it does. You know, because at least I'm not the only one in my family to have reacted to my parents' abuse. However, I don't really know why I feel so sort of shocked about it, and I do. It means absolutely nothing, in that I still, you know, there's absolutely no way on, well, that I can see, that I want anything to do with either of them. My younger brother, I have a slightly soft spot for, I guess, because he at least showed me compassion. It's only one occasion I can remember, but I remember at the time thinking, well, I was just so touched that he did, and that he had recognised the pain I was in. He just put his arm around me. But that's the only time. But, you know, that's enough for me not to write him off. But I cannot approve at all of what he's doing at the moment. I mean, he was a devout Jehovah's Witness for quite some time. You know, my two brothers are both gay, and I didn't know that. They let me take all the shit. And anyway, he was a devout Jehovah's Witness and was forever telling me how evil I was and how I was going to hell, and I needed to be delivered of the demons that possessed me and all that sort of crap. Which drove me bonkers, quite literally drove me bonkers. And anyway, he isn't anymore, and what he is now is he's some sort of spiritual guru that believes he's channeling some higher being from another dimension or some such thing. But again, he's just swapped one rigidity for another rigidity, and he still hates me. And we had contact a few years ago, only via email, when I found out that my mother had died, and I found out that he was a published author. And then I found out, much to my horror, what he does for a living, and it's sort of family healing, can you believe, when he hates his brother and does nothing about his own family and doesn't even see me as human. Anyway, I've sort of got off track. I don't know what I'm talking about now. But it wasn't just me. It was all of us. All three of us damaged. So it just makes it even more confusing why I'm the black sheep, why I'm the one they all shit upon, and why I'm the one who they hate and have blamed everything on. It doesn't really make much sense to me. But that's the way it is. And you know, I realised at the end of 2007, yeah, it took that long, that, you know, this whole thing has nothing to do with me. It's to do with them. The way I was treated was because of who they are, not because of who I am. And, you know, I'm free of them. Whereas my younger brother, I know, isn't. He isn't free of it. And I know that my older brother isn't. But I am shocked, I have to say, that I knew nothing about all that with my older brother. So, there we are. My family is much more fucked over than I thought. But as I said, I suppose it makes me feel less odd. You know, that I wasn't oversensitive to react the way that I did. I do think it's really sad for my older brother that is this, you know, that was the situation. But all these lies means that I've possibly given my medical people wrong information about family disease. You know, maybe he never had a spinal tumour after all. I mean, they were really quite concerned about that, considering the problems I have with my spine. But that could well be a lie. I hate lies. And I can usually tell when I'm being lied to. People are so stupid. Even people who know me really well try it. Anyway, I'm sorry for the pauses. You know, I'm alright. Everything's fine. Oh, doesn't that sound really... But it's true, everything is fine. You know, we're just waiting for the house to get remodelled and all of that. And yeah, I do feel like everything's up in the air right now. And I can't wait for it all to be fixed. And this is why I call them sort of posh problems, because of course we're very lucky that we can do this. I'm a bit cheesed off that you know, we have to have certain things done because of my disability. And I've just realised that it's not my video camera that keeps going out of focus, it's me. Because of course I've got varifocals on, and sometimes I'm not looking through the right bit when I'm looking at you. Or me, I should say, I suppose. Anyway, and I'll tell you something funny, and I'm going to finish this. One of the things I've always moaned about with bloody shops and things that have a step into them, that it's just really a simple matter of having a little wooden ramp made so that people like me in wheelchairs can get in. My house hasn't got one. I've been doing all this moaning about shops and things, and I haven't even made my own house fucking accessible. How daft is that? It's taken our plumber Jason to point that out. He said, you need a ramp there. Or was it the man who's going to do the door in the conservatory? I think it was him. Yes, it was him, Michael. Said, you need a ramp there. When they come and build the base, ask Eddie to do you a ramp. And I think they're going to do a concrete one. Oh, what a moron. I didn't think about making my own house accessible. Well, it's certainly going to be accessible. The flooring's all got to be ripped up because it's too dangerous for me. And we're having soft flooring put down and non-slip, hopefully. And then the last thing that's going to be done is one of those chairlift things. Oh, I don't suppose I mind it that much. It's just that they're so slow. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? I know what you thought I was going to say. But it's too bloody slow. I want it to whiz up there. But then again, I suppose it can't, because if it whizzed up there, it'd chuck me out the other end, wouldn't it? It wouldn't have time to slow down, so it's got to go slow. And so I can just sit there and wait. Imagine if I'm desperate for a pee. I press the button, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And I won't be like they show on the telly, the little old lady in a little frock pressing a button. That'll be me and my Doc Martens. They ought to advertise people like me, then maybe we wouldn't feel so bad about having to have one. Anyway, I'm going. Bye.